Welcome back to another edition of the White Sox here on OOTP 25. As you can see, we are here still very early in the 2024 campaign. It is April 22nd, and as you can also see, we are sitting at 500. Obviously, still extremely early on the season here, but so far, this strategy has had us pretty competitive so far on the season. You know, you take a quick look at the bats, a lot of negatives we're seeing here. Not a lot of guys, or I guess I should say we do have a couple guys who are hitting well. Like our first base platoon is working. Those guys have gotten off to a good start here. Edgar Caro as a bench bat has been good for us. Martin Maldonado never hits because he's Martin Maldonado. Yon Moncada has been good. DeYoung is hitting home runs and driving in runs, but just overall not doing much. He's striking out a ton. This is probably not going to keep up. Luis Roberts been good. Rafael Ortega's been good. He did get hurt a little bit, and while he was hurt, we had Dominic Fletcher up in the big leagues, and he had a decent stint in the big leagues, and then we just wanted to not totally give up on Brett Phillips yet, so that's why we sent Fletcher back down, and then kept Phillips. So you can see here Phillips has a 1 WRC+, so we might be leaning towards DFAing Brett Phillips because he has no options. And then bringing up Fletcher as our fourth outfielder. But, you know, it's still very early, so we're not going to make any harsh decisions on some stuff here on the bats. We're going to be more aggressive with the pitching this first season. And you can see so far at the pitching, we already had to make a change as Eric Fetty, who's currently not hurt, but he had a nagging day-to-day oblique strain, I believe it was. Yeah, mild oblique strain. 2 to 3 weeks on a day-to-day thing, and it just took him forever to come back from it, so we put him on the IL. He has 9 days left on that. Unfortunately, he has some extra days on the IL with no injury, but he will be back. He got off to a good start with his 2 starts. Hopefully he can continue pitching like that. As far as what the staff looks like right now, we've also sent down Tim Hill because he was terrible. He got 7 appearances and was just getting lit the fuck up. So we sent him down, unfortunately. I do really like Tim Hill, but fortunately it was not working out. He might be back at some point. We will have to see. Like I said, we're going to be very aggressive with the call-ups and send-downs here in the pitching staff. So right now we have, I believe it was Matt Dermody. No, Matt Dermody came up for Fetty. So Matt Dermody was somebody we signed out of minor league free agency, or just in free agency in general. We signed him to a minor league deal, high control, decent movement, ground ball guy. You know, figured it was worth a shot, giving him worth a chance, taking a shot on him. University of Iowa left-hander. You know, he's a side armor, but he's good against righties and lefties. He's got similar stats against righties and lefties, or ratings, I should say. So I just figured, why not try to give this guy a shot as like a bulk sort of guy in our major league staff here, because we're just trying to throw stuff at the wall and see if it sticks. And then just wanted to get another lefty up because Tim Hill was not performing well. We decided to give Shane Drohan an opportunity here. I just don't think this guy is going to really pan out because he just doesn't really, his ratings don't like stand out to me as anything that's going to like actually play well. But he was a Rule 5 pick in real life by the White Sox from the Red Sox in the 2023 offseason. And like I said, I don't think this guy is going to really do much, but I figured why not at least try to get something going with him. So he is on our staff here. He's had 1 appearance. He went very well in that 1 appearance in an inning and a third. And we're starting to move around some of our opener guys because some guys have, you know, been terrible at openers, like Chris Flexen, for example. We look at his splits. He had 4 starts. As an opener, was terrible. As a reliever, he's been really good. So we removed the opener from him. Mike Soroka, though, actually has been pretty decent as an opener. So we are keeping him there. Unfortunately, has been not good as a regular reliever. And then we also have Sammy Peralta as the left-hander. He's had some decent opener appearances, you know, in 2 starts. And then we're going to give Shane Drohan a bit of a run as an opener possibility here for us. So that's what we're rocking with here in the rotation, or in the bullpen, in the rotation at the moment. We're going to keep, like I said, keep throwing stuff at the wall, hoping it sticks, and we'll see where we are as the season progresses. We're probably going to do a little bit more check-ins than we usually do this first season, because I'm just curious how this goes. I should also mention, we decided to do the check-in right now because we just swept the Philadelphia Phillies in Philadelphia here in April of 2024, which is just absurd. A 3-1 win over the Phillies here. It was a Garrett Crochet start. He goes 5 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, 9 Ks. Outduels Zach Wheeler, Peralta, Leisure, and Wilson in the bullpen. And then on the offensive side of things, Rafael Ortega and Mark Payton tripled. And those were only extra base hits. Just a lot of other situational hitting, I guess, aside from those guys. And then the game 2 of the series was a 3-2 win. That was Shane Drohan getting the opener. That was his appearance. He was the opener, did very well. Drew Thorpe came out as the bulk guy. He did well. Leisure and Brebbia picks up the save, outdueling Spencer Turnbull, beating them 3-2 as Robert doubles, Moncada triples, and Andrew Vaughn and Robert both hit home runs. And then for the third game, a 9-5 victory as Mike Soroka opens the game. Tanner Banks goes 3 2/3 as the follower. Flexen. Kopech gets roughed up a bit, and then Peralta gives us 2 innings there at the end as we chase Aaron Nola out of the game after 3 innings, giving up 9 hits, 7 runs as the White Sox offense just jumps on him. Moncada, Ortega, Nicky Lopez with a double, Paul DeJong with a home run. 2-run home run in the 4th inning. All right, so another little check-in here. It is May 11th, and as you can see, we are now in last place in the AL Central Division, only 4 games back. It's not like we're, 10 games under 500, but things are starting to slip here. Not that, I was expecting this team to be 500 the whole season, but like I said, we're trying to do a bit more check-ins here, just see how the thing is going. And we have Yoan Moncada, who is currently on the IL right now because he just keeps... I was trying to play him through the sprained thumb, but he just kept getting setbacks. So we're just going to sit him down, let him fully recover from this injury. And in the meantime, we have a call-up of a top prospect, Colson Montgomery, who you could see was tearing the cover off the ball in AAA with a 134 WRC+, 6 doubles, 6 home runs, was slashing .254, .434, .469 for a .903 OPS. So having a solid season, he's up to a 45 overall. He wanted to play in the big league, so we called him up here. We needed a third baseman, so we called him up. You can also see that we have gotten rid of Paul DeJong because he was just not getting it done, and I wanted some more flexibility when it came to infielders. He had no options. He was on a 1-year deal, so we waived and DFA'd him. And Brendan Shoemake is still our backup, but Lenine Sosa is actually now here on the big league club. He was performing in AA and in AAA, so we called him up, and he's only gotten 1 game so far, but he did well in that 1 game, so we'll see how he does here in the big leagues. He is now up on the big league club. We also did DFA Brett Phillips, as now Dominic Fletcher is on the big league club because we felt that he was the better option, also more flexible because he has options, obviously. Unfortunately, he is currently cold and not doing well. But Luis Robert is still on fire, as well as Jimenez has been hitting well. Caro's still hitting well. Vaughn has been hitting well to a point where we've actually made him the starter against both, giving Sheets a little bit of time against right-handed pitching just to get his bat in the lineup. But overall, Andrew Vaughn has been the much better player. We might at some point just make it to where he's starting every day. We are also going to be making a decision to just roll with Edgar Caro at the catcher position because it's not like Martin Maldonado's doing anything defensively for us. Unfortunately, Maldonado's framing has gone down. You look at his scouting, his defensive rating has actually gone down. It's a 50 framing. It's only 40. It's only 5 better than Edgar Caro's framing. Obviously, he has much better blocking and arm, and he's a captain. But, he's not giving us elite framing. He's striking out 47% of the time. We just can't play that. So Edgar Caro is going to play with Martin Maldonado as the defensive sub listed there. And we're just going to hope that he can do a good enough job to where the pitching staff isn't being totally destroyed by just a horrible framing. But the catcher position is definitely something that we are going to have to attempt to figure out this upcoming offseason, because, we need a catcher. And unfortunately, because I made the decision to call up Maldonado in the first place, he is a guy who has played 12 years, therefore can refuse a assignment to the AAA, which he has done. He also is a player who has a team option, so we can't just, or I guess we can waive and DFA him and then it wouldn't count the team option. So we might do that at some point, but even if we did that, it's not like we have a plethora of options down in the minor leagues when it comes to catching options. Like in AAA, we've got Chucky Robinson, who's not really anything. We've got Juan Centeno, who we picked up on a minor league deal as a high leader, 60 framing guy. He's probably our best bet to get any sort of good defensive catching in the major leagues. You know, we've also got like Corey Lee, who's not a great catcher. We've got Carlos Perez, who's not a great catcher. Down in high A, we've got Christian Hackenberg's brother, who has 60 framing and like Is he one of the best options that we have? I should also mention that we have removed Jonathan Cannon out of the rotation because he just was our worst starting pitcher this season. So we have removed him out of the rotation. He is now just a full-time reliever. And we have Davis Martin, who has returned from his injury. He's only had one start, or I guess he's a follower. So he's had one appearance for 3 2/3, which did not go well. But on paper, he's better than Cannon at the moment, so we decided to go with him. He's back from his injury, and we're going to hope that we can continue to be scrappy-ish. Well, folks, the Edgar Caro catching experiment is now over for the next month. He has a torn quad. We also just, 2 days before this happened, waived and DFA'd Maldonado, so we called up Centeno. So now our catching situation is Juan Centeno, and I don't know, I guess putting Maldonado back on the big league roster if he's cleared. He has one more day to clear, or we go with, Hackenberg. I guess he's not somebody who needs to be added to the 40-man, so it's not like we have to add him. Centeno is a lefty. Hackenberg, we're just going to do it, man. Christian Hackenberg's brother is going to come up to the big leagues here, as Edgar Caro is going to go to the IL. And we're going to have a every other day sort of catching thing, probably. And just see who emerges as, the best guy, because why not? We're checking back in. It is May 30th, and we are 500 on the season. Somehow, the American League Central Division is 5 teams just beating up on each other, being as mid as humanly possible. 29 and 27 is first place. We are only a game out in 4th place at 29 and 29. And then somehow we're even still in it with the wild card. So we're about to be through 2 months this season here, and the Chicago White Sox are in the playoff picture, folks. Not going to go through a full recap of the team here, of how everyone's been doing, but just a quick little highlights of some of the guys who have been key contributors for us. One, Luis Robert with the bat. He has been phenomenal. He's already at a 1.9 WAR, 137 WRC plus, 13 doubles, 861 OPS. And he's playing a solid center field. Loving to see that. He's been the heart of our offense. We've also got Andrew Vaughn, who's been playing like real-life Andrew Vaughn with the Brewers. He is tearing the cover off the ball. 165 WRC plus, 1.6 WAR at first base. He's playing damn well. We also have some of the contributors coming up from the minors, and Lenine Sosa's been pretty solid for us in limited sample size, obviously, very limited sample size. Same with Colson Montgomery. Very limited sample size, but we're excited to see what he can turn into here for us at the third base position. And then Dominic Fletcher here, right? Right now we have him playing every 3rd game in left and every 5th game in right against righties and against lefties, because we're trying to get Mark Payton's bat going, because on paper you're like, this bat is something that's intriguing. Maybe, with a couple months of time it'll finally get better. We're starting to lean towards we might send him down to AAA, call up somebody else, and just kind of go full defense for the outfield alignment. Because Ortega's been up and down enough to where he's solidified his spot on the roster at the moment. And then Fletcher, maybe he ends up being the starting left fielder or the starting right fielder, and we move Ortega to left, or we keep Ortega in right. He's been really good at right, so we'd probably keep him in right. He also only has a 301 OBP, despite him leading off for us. That is simply because we don't really have any huge OBP guys like Montgomery, but we're hitting him 5th. Maybe we move him up in the lineup here. I don't want Vaughn leading off. I want Roberts hitting 2nd. Sosa isn't really the leadoff guy for me. That's a small sample size. So I was going off pitches per plate appearance, where Rafael Ortega has the highest on the team. So he's seeing a lot of pitches in that leadoff spot, decent walk percentage. Why not put him in that spot? While on the pitching side of things, we don't really have any standout contributors, I would say. Like Crochet has been really good. Fetty has not been as good. Honestly, we should probably try putting him as a follower and go with the 4-follower thing that I was talking about, because he has not been able to get it done as a regular starter, unfortunately. But we've got some guys like Sammy Peralta has been really good as a middle reliever opener. He's been good in both roles as a starter and a reliever, so that's been fantastic to see. And then we've just got some good enough contributions from some of the bullpen guys. Liegier's been solid enough. Margavicius, we signed him as a minor league free agent. He's been okay enough. I didn't realize he went to Ryder. Go Bronx. Mike Soroka as a long reliever / opener. He's been the opener supreme for us this season. He's been a huge part of why the opener has been working so well for us. 12 starts as an opener, been solid in that role. Chris Flexen has been horrible. I've been considering getting rid of him, DFAing him, and moving on. You look at these ERAs and FIPS, nobody's really having a great season aside from Crochet and Sammy Peralta, funnily enough. But somehow this team is 500 and competing at the moment. Oh man, I think the overworking of the bullpen is starting to happen here, as Jordan Ligier stretched elbow ligament out for the rest of the season, 11 months. Not good. That also just recently happened to Matt Dermody, torn UCL. He had been pretty decent for us in 27 innings as just an average reliever, which is more than we can ask for at this point. So we lose him, and now Ligier, who was one of our stoppers. That is a big blow to our bullpen, and now we scramble to find another guy. Well, folks, it is July 11th, which means it is time for the first-year player draft, and our Chicago White Sox are no longer competing in the American League Central Division. It was too good to be true, folks. I mean, we've done some things well this year. We've had some bright spots so far here through the first half-ish of the season. But overall, we're the 2024 Chicago White Sox, so there's only so much you can do to be a competitive team. We've had some injuries, we've had some ups, we've had some downs, obviously. If we take a look at our team stats page, you could see May was really, really good for us. 17-11 in the month of May. That is our Super Bowl. We are hanging our hat on the month of May here in 2024. The May 2024 Chicago White Sox. Nobody's beating them, folks. But then June, yikes. 9-18. Not what you want whatsoever. And then so far, 2-7 here in the month of July. Really, really horrible ball being played as of recently. But just taking a look at some of these team stats here, we do have a couple things that stand out as okay, this hits number used to be lower. Last time I checked this was 5th. Now it's 9th. So you could see, we're not getting as many hits, not being able to bunt over as many runners as we were, and things are just not really helping. Obviously, this team is horrible on paper, so there's only so much you could do, as I keep saying. And on the pitching side of things, really interesting is the fact that we are so good at limiting hits, and we have the lowest BABIP in the American League. We have the lowest BABIP, the lowest opponent's average, and the second least amount of hits allowed as a pitching staff in the American League. And then we're playing some good defense as well. The best defensive efficiency and the 6th best zone rating as a team in the American League. But then all this other stuff, just truly, truly dreadful. We're top 10 in ERA and bullpen ERA, but starters not doing anything. Overall runs allowed, we're 9th, but obviously we're not scoring any runs. Home runs allowed, just terrible. Walks, giving up way too many. Strikeouts, not striking at anybody. So, like, we're walking guys and we're not striking guys out. Not exactly a recipe for success when it comes to a pitching staff, even when you combine the fact that we're just not giving up any hits and we're playing good defense. You know, there's only so much you can do. I should mention that we do have 2 other players on the IL. Braden Shoemake, who was our bench infielder for the majority of the season, fractured a cheekbone. I'd imagine probably got hit in the face. He's whatever, decent enough backup player. He'll be back soon. And then Colson Montgomery, unfortunately, went down with a hand contusion, but it was only for a week, so he'll be out for a little bit longer, but he will be back as he has been one of our better hitters here in the big leagues. Unfortunately, not a shortstop like he is in real life, even if, it's questions whether he's going to stick at shortstop in real life or not. But Colson Montgomery in this, definitely a third baseman. But he's been hitting, so hopefully he can continue to hit for us at that third base spot. As far as the other bats on this roster, sorting by WAR, Luis Robert Jr. has been by far our best offensive player, or I guess by far our best overall position player, I should say. 134 WRC plus with a 3 WAR, 24 doubles and 13 home runs. And he's just doing well. He's 17 stolen bases, 4.9 ZR total. That is a all in center field as well, 83 games. He has been phenomenal for us, so not much more you can ask from him. Andrew Vaughn cooled off a little bit, but still very good at the plate for us this season with a 130 WRC plus, 16 doubles and 10 home runs for the University of Arizona first baseman. And then Edgar, he went to Arizona, right? California. Why did I think Arizona? He went to Cal. He was a Bear. I don't know why I thought Arizona. But anyways, Edgar Caro, catching now, back up in the big leagues here. We've got Centeno playing as the defensive sub. Caro's even leading off because he has the highest OBP on the team and the highest among guys who haven't had 5 plate appearances, pitches per plate appearance. So he is leading off for us. And then Edgar Caro, even, not the worst base runner either. So he's leading off for us. Been hitting well. We need his defense to improve. We are going to be attempting to improve this in the dev lab over the offseason. But right now, things not looking great from a defensive standpoint for him. We also have Lenine Sosa at, let's go back to WAR here. We have Dominic Fletcher, who is now our everyday left fielder. He's got a 1 WAR, triple-digit WRC plus, 18 doubles. What more can he ask for? He is a really, really good defensive outfielder with some decent BABIP and gap power. Long-term, not going to be a starter for us, but maybe he's a scrappy 4th outfielder for us. Who knows? Yon Moncada has cooled off. He's not really anything. He's just an average major league bat who we will definitely not be picking up this $25 million option in the offseason. If we can't even find a trade for him, we're probably going to trade him at the deadline. And then Rafael Ortega cooled off here, 76 WRC plus, 15 doubles. He's. I thought he would be a bit better, but unfortunately, that has not been the case. He is playing a really good right field, so we'll take that. But offensively, not doing anything for us. Lenine Sosa, around a league average bat at the moment. We'll take it. Gavin Sheets, bench player, around league average. Danny Mendick recently up because of the Shoemake injury. I believe it was because of the Montgomery injury, because we were playing Sosa and Moncada, like splitting playing time, and then Montgomery got hurt, so now they're both starting, and now Shoemake will probably be back up once, Montgomery, or Shoemake, I don't know what we'll do. We'll figure it out when it happens, but that is why we have Montgomery, or that's why Mendick is on the team, and then these are the guys who just suck. Nicky Lopez here as a guy who just plays a decent enough shortstop, a 3.8 CR at shortstop, sure, whatever. Horrible, horrible, horrible bat. The guy cannot do anything with the bat. He's just terrible. Will definitely not be a long-term player here for us, but he was just the best option we had at the shortstop position, and we did not get lucky with his offensive capabilities. So he's got a negative WAR. We also have Eloy Jimenez, who has been not great. He does lead the team in home runs and RBI, but not like he's a world beater with those numbers, and also just not really a player who we really want at this point. We have him for one more season guaranteed. So I would have to imagine at the deadline in the offseason, we will be trying to shop him and open up that DH spot for maybe Caro, maybe somebody else. And then you may also notice that we have Christian Pache on the big league roster here. We claimed him off waivers from the Phillies in May. Really, really good defensive outfielder, obviously. Decent personality. 50 BABIP, 50 I. Figured why not take a shot on him and just try to go all in on the defense on the outfield. I mean, we've got some really good outfield defenders here. We've got Dominic Fletcher in left field. We've got Luis Robert Jr. in center field. And we have Rafael Ortega in right field, who's putting up a very good year in right field as well as just having good ratings. And then Pache is our fourth outfielder. So lots of good outfield gloves to go around here on the south side. While on the pitching side of things, sorted by innings pitched, Garrett Crochet is the only true starter on this team, and he has been by far our best pitcher. Will we try to trade him like they did in real life? Probably. Probably going to be either at the deadline or in the offseason. Depends on when we can get the best deal for him. If there's something out there at the deadline that is too good to pass up, we will trade him. If it's going to be in the offseason and there's something out there that's too good to pass up, we will trade him. But right now, performing extremely well here. Very, very good player, obviously. Only like 2 more years of team control. As far as the rest of the guys, nobody really having a standout season. Eric Fetty, not really great. Jonathan Cannon, 71 innings. He's around league average both ways. Tanner Banks, unfortunately, no longer starting for us. We're actually playing him as a stopper right now because he just was getting beat up in the rotation. And then ever since we moved him to the bullpen, you can see here as a stopper, he's been really, really good. So Tanner Banks, now as a stopper, performing quite well. As now we have Drew Thorpe back in the rotation. He hasn't been great. Davis Martin hasn't been great. Michael Soroka has been whatever as an opener, long reliever. Sammy Peralta's starting to come back down to earth. He's not really doing anything too great these days. Steven Wilson's been like whatever. We also called up Nick Nastrini recently, right-hander out of UCLA. He was pitching very well in AAA with the Charlotte... What is their nickname? The Charlotte Knights. Are they still red in this? No, they don't. They actually have the blue. But Nick Nastrini up with the big league team. He has gotten 4 appearances, and he's been very good in all 4 of his major league appearances. We take a look at Detroit, went 6 innings, 8 Ks. Versus Colorado, went 7 1/3, 13 Ks. They got roughed up a bit against Miami, and then roughed up a bit against Minnesota as well. But nothing too crazy. Gave up 2 earned runs, 2 home runs in one of the appearances, 4 walks, 3 walks, so not the greatest appearances, but, could be worse. And then we also called up, or we claimed Thomas Sapuki. I don't know how you say this guy's name. It sounds very Polish. That was really the only reason why we claimed him. He does have good ratings on paper, but he's an extreme fly ball guy. We all know how much I don't like extreme fly ball guys. But, this guy's last name, combined with Chicago, combined with he just needed some arms, figured he was worth taking a shot on in waivers here. And he's been not anything special for us. We also have Archie Bradley up in the big leagues now. Shout out to the man from Muskogee, Broken Arrow High School as well. 50 control, 50 movement, ground ball pitcher. Figured he was worth giving a shot. And he's been okay, I guess. Pretty good, whatever, in 3 2/3. Hopefully he can continue the rest of the season. And then we also have Corey Knebel up here with the big leagues at the moment as well. 32-year-old veteran reliever. Decent enough rating, 70 grade fastball, knuckle curve. He has been terrible in his appearances in the big leagues, but very small sample size, so hopefully it can improve as he pitches more. I should also mention that Matthew Boyd is indeed back from his recovery of Tommy John surgery. He is in Double-A right now, pitching with the Birmingham Barons. Very well in 3 starts. He will be in the big leagues here within a couple days, within a week, I'd have to imagine. And we're going to see what he can do for us down the stretch heading into the deadline. And maybe we get lucky and are able to trade him for something, or maybe we get him on a cheap deal next year. Who knows? But now it is time to go into the 2024 first-year player draft here, where we have the 5th overall pick. Guardians, Reds, Rockies, A's, and then us, 5th overall. In real life, they took Hagen Smith, the whippy left-hander, out of Arkansas to pair with Noah Schultz. We shall see who we will take here in our universe. So, number 1 overall to the Cleveland Guardians is going to be Travis Bizona, the Australian infielder, second baseman, whatever you think he is. And this probably second first base. But Travis Bizona, the Australian out of Oregon State, goes number 1 to the Cleveland Guardians. Number 2 to Cincinnati is Charlie Condon, the Georgia Slugger. Number 3 to Colorado is Carson Benj, the Oklahoma State power-hitting outfielder who can also pitch a little bit. And then 4 to the Oakland A's is Bryce Rainier of high school guy, Harvard Westlake, which I believe is where, isn't that where all the different, like, Giolito, Fried, all those guys went? And we will not be taking Cam Caminiti this time, I can guarantee you that much, folks. But here, number 5 overall, we, I guess, could go with Hayden Smith. Doesn't even look like he's here. Oh, we have it filtered by work ethic. What am I doing? Brody Brecht was a big fan of him in real life at Iowa. Let's just go college players. Is Hagen Smith even here? What is he rated in this? All right, so in this he's a 45 potential. Sure. Not going to take this guy first round, obviously. Obviously rated much, but like Chase Burns, it's a 45. You know, these are OOTP ratings. They're not real life ratings. So we're not going to, be recreating the first round of the draft here. And I can see why I took Cam Caminiti with the Angels first round, and this with the Angels in OTP 25. He's got that good adaptability, work ethic. Looks like he even hit a little bit. I didn't even realize that when I took him. Maybe I did, but we took him as a pitcher. We're not going to take him this time. I don't believe that's going to be the case. If we take a look at the college players, Brody Brecht is the best. We're looking at just starters. Jesus Christ, I'm all over the place. But James Tibbs from Florida State could be an option. Outfielder, lefty, famously traded for Rafi Devers in the big Devers to the Giants trade, and then I believe the Red Sox have already turned around and traded him. But, he's a first baseman, left fielder type, but he does look like he could have a decent bat. It's going to be more so BABIP than anything else, but he has possibly 55 power and eye. So James Tibbs III could be an option for us. As far as other college players, we got Jack Caglione here. In this, don't really love his rating. 60 power, 60 BABIP. It's all power and BABIP. There's not much gap power. He's obviously has some huge avoid K issues. Doesn't ever walk. He's never really going to be a pitcher either. Maybe he is, maybe he's not. But I don't really think I want to take Jack Caglione here. Vance Honeycutt could be fun. Go with the sick outfield defense, who could be a maybe good BABIP, gap power eye guy, good speed profile, 75 range. I believe he was a long time, really good Gold Glove center fielder with the A's in the universe with the Angels last time we did a series on here. We got Braden Montgomery, who the Red Sox took in real life first round, switch hitting outfielder out of Texas A&M, who in real life was entering the draft with a broken ankle that he suffered in, was it the regionals or the super regionals? I forget. We got Santucci from Duke, lefty. He could be an option for us. Peyton Tolley, my man, the fireball lefty in this, 45 home runs allowed, not going to be cutting it for us. Already eliminates him from us drafting him here. Devin Obie from Duke. He could be an option, as I'm clicking on the wrong guys all over the place. Devin Obie from Duke. Power profile, 65 range. I think if we're going to take an outfielder, I would prefer Honeycutt, though, over Devin Obie. Malcolm Moore, not really a great catcher, not really looking there. Carter Matheson out of Indiana. Looks like he could be a good bat. Maybe we go with Carter Matheson, possibly. Our scouting director thinks we should take a high school kid. Not really wanting to do that, not really leaning high school if I'm totally honest here, but at the same time, are any of these college guys really worth it at this point? If we're comparing Vance Honeycutt and Devin Obie out of Duke and Honeycutt out of UNC. Yeah, I think I would prefer Honeycutt. Obi's got more power potential, but he's only got 50 gap and 50 I, whereas Honeycutt has 55 home run potential, but he has 60 I and 55 gap with a little bit better avoid K for Obi, but the same contact potential for each. And then you get more speed profile. And then obviously, the defense, Honeycutt completely blows Obi out of the water as a 75 range center fielder. And, you're looking at the roster right now, you're going, you don't need a center fielder. You've got Luis Robert Jr., who probably not going to be keeping around very long, though. And also, Dominic Fletcher isn't probably a guy we're looking to start long term. So Vance Honeycutt here, I think he is going to be our guy. It's probably either him or Caglione. I just don't think I want to take Caglione. I mean, the power could be good, but also at the same time, I think we prefer the glove, so Vance Honeycutt's going to be our guy here first round. 5th overall out of the University of North Carolina. Lock it in. Boom, that's our first round pick. We're moving on to round 2, as we still have Devin Obi here available in round 2. Who are the other college guys? Brody Brecht still here. I was possibly considering him last round. Santucci. I am tempted to either go Brody Brecht or Santucci. We've also got Ethan Bates here as like a utility guy who has some pitching capability as well out of Louisiana Tech, but the bat isn't really that intriguing for me. So our scouting director wanted us to take Clinton Harris in the first round, and now that he's here in the second round, he's like, actually, no, we want you to take Christian De Los Santos out of Miami Christian, who's possibly got some seriously good pop, but, never going to be able to play defense. He's not even a first baseman. He's just a straight-up DH. Don't know if I want to take that in the second round. I think we're still just preferring college guys. So, we could go with that high school pitcher. Let's just compare him and Brody Brecht just to see. I mean, sure, Harris on paper is better, has the better. I mean, they're basically the same except for the control. Harris has a bit better control potential, but Harris is 17. How long, if any, is he actually going to develop? I think we want Brody Brecht just because he's closer to the big leagues. So we're going to go with the Iowa guy. We're going to go Brody Brecht out of the University of Iowa. He is our second round pick. Lock that in here. Boom, move things on round 3. And our scouting director believes we should take Clinton Harris because he is still here, and we might do so. As much as I do like Santucci, though. He's really close to Major League ready, too. Like, he's got a bunch of 45s and 50s here. That big bopper bat is here as well. I doubt Clinton Harris is here next round. But at the same time, I think we're going to go the college route again. I think we're going to go Santucci. I like Peyton Tolle in real life. Unfortunately, in this, his home run allowed isn't what it is, like what it's viewed as in real life. He's not throwing 98 like he is in real life because this is getting into Pro Ball Dev Lab where he's throwing 91, 93. So, not quite the prospect he is in real life, whereas Santucci throwing about the same, but looks like he could be much better. So we're going to go with Santucci here. Another college arm, round 3. Move things on to round 4. And Devin Obi is still here. Is that high school guy, though? He is. Peculiar that they're both still there. Like, my scout must think that Obi's just, no, OSA thinks he's about the same, too. So there's just a shit ton of 45s here. So, like, other orgs must be, like, prioritizing other stuff. Like, Fenwick Tremble here. Somebody like that out of James Madison. Mike Sirota. I do like the idea of Mike Sirota out of Northeastern. We all know I love the cold weather guys, but, 45 gap, 45 power, that's definitely not something I'm loving. Loki, who is here in the, what is this, the fourth? The 4th round. Very interesting. Obviously some huge swing and miss issues. The gap power isn't anything special. The power is not even like Nick Kurtz level power like it is in real life, but You know, he is the name is there, folks. Eddie King Jr. from Louisville. I believe isn't he still at Louisville in real life? Or am I thinking of the wrong player here? But Eddie King Jr., I really like him at Louisville. Jared Jones is here available as well. Big time pop on him. Now I'm just naming guys that I recognize from college ball. Ooh, I don't love that he's had a bunch of drops already, so maybe we don't go Devin Obie. Jeremiah Jenkins could be interesting if we want to go more closer to the Bigs power bat, where he could possibly have 65 power. He's gotten some pluses already this year. 6'4", 240 from Maryland, went to school at University of Maine. Might not ever hit for a good average, but, you know, not going to have the worst avoid K, it looks like, and he might have 65 grade power. And that's always something that we're lacking, I feel like, on my teams, because I just don't prioritize it enough, and I go for more of the defense pitching, gap power, contact eye sort of ratings rather than the guys like Jeremiah Jenkins. But I feel like if we're going to go power here, we should probably go with this high school guy and just hope he can develop and maybe get a dev boost to where he's a bit better in the outfield. He's got the work ethic and intelligence. Yeah, I think we're going to do that. We're going to go with the high school guy here. Lock him in. Move things on to round 5. As finally the other starter got taken. They think we should take this other high school guy now. Not sure if I'm loving that. Tag Davis. Yes, committed to Louisville. This guy was quite good at Louisville this year in real life. I watched quite a bit of him in the regionals. Devin Obie is still here, so is Peyton Tolley. The thing is, I don't want to, like, zero in on guys just because I know who they are, but, like, their OOTP version isn't something we should be looking at seriously. But, I mean, I feel like we've been looking at Devin Obie so much, we might as well take him. We might as well take him here. He's going to be our guy. Round 5, lock that in. Move things on to round 6. Peyton Tolley's still here. We might have to take him, even if he isn't, like, real-life Peyton Tolley in this universe. Unless there's something that really stands out to me other than Peyton Tolley. We do like this guy. At least a decent bit. I don't know if I want to take another outfielder, though. I know in real life the White Sox did take Nick McLean here, Matt McLean's brother, if I'm not mistaken. Really good outfield range, really good gap power, decent enough BABIP avoid KI, really good speed profile, switch hitter. A lot of stuff to like there, Nick McLean. But I do personally love Eddie King. He's from Chicago as well. I feel like we kind of have to lean Eddie King. I mean, Nick McLean is just the power does give Eddie King a bit more base running. Nick McLean has that. Defensively, they're the same, but Nick McLean could possibly give you like a first and second base as well. You know, we're going to go Nick McLean like they did in real life, round 6 here, and then we're going to hope that Eddie King is there. He is indeed. We're taking him. Round 6, Eddie King Jr. out of Louisville, the Chicago-born outfielder. Move things on. We're on to round 7. Peyton Tolley's still here. You know, I feel like at this point we just kind of have to take the high school guy, Braden Booth, and just hope that he can develop out of Bob Jones High School in Madison, Alabama. He's going to be our guy. We're taking him round 7. Then we move things on round 8. And now we're going to look at some college pitchers. This was one guy I saw, Joseph Gonzalez, high control movement. Not the greatest stuff or pitches, but you're hoping that the extreme ground ball control movement profile plays the stuff up a bit and makes him a viable starting pitcher. That's something that's totally possible. This is a reliever from Austin P. Aiden Butler, don't love the 45 home runs allowed. I mean, we didn't take Peyton Tolley, who was there just every freaking round looking us right in the face with 45, so we're not going to go turn around and take this guy with 45 home runs allowed. Out of Minnesota, we do like the cold weather guys, but, you know, the control home run allowed being so much underdeveloped besides the other stuff kind of turns me away from this guy. I think if we're going to go college arm here, it's got to be either this reliever or Joseph Gonzalez. Or we could turn around and go college bat here and get somebody who could give us some real pop, like somebody like not Justin Thomas, somebody like Jacob Tobias here out of Arizona State. High work ethic, intelligence. Really can only play a first base, but he's got 60 power, 55 gap, 50 BABIP. Extreme pull, fly ball hitter, or pull fly balls. That's serious pop potential. You've also got Hunter Hines out of Mississippi State, who doesn't have as much gap power, but has a little bit more eye. You also have Zach McDonald here. We've already taken a few outfielders. I think I would prefer Tobias. I think we're going to go Tobias. We're going to go Tobias, try to get ourselves a cheeky little power bat here out of Arizona State. Move things on. See if Joseph Gonzalez is still here. We're going to take him. We're going to take Joseph Gonzalez out of Auburn. Move things on to round 10. Alrighty, folks, so we are here at the end of the first-year player draft for 2024. I believe last time we took Jacob Gonzalez, and now we will go over the rest of the draft. So 10th round, we took Jaden Melendez, a catcher out of the University of Pittsburgh with 60 framing, 55 blocking, 65 arm. Really, really good personality, classy as the leader, the adaptability, work ethic, and intelligence. Could possibly be somebody down the line. Who knows? Maybe he's just a guy who catches our minor leagues very, very well. That's still valuable to have. Then in round 11, we take a injured pitcher in Pierce Capola, who I think might have been a Rutgers transfer. That is not correct. I just looked it up. He just has the same last... Rutgers used to have a guy named Christian Capola. Figured he was New Jersey. Maybe they're related. Doesn't say they are on his Florida page on the website, but... maybe they're cousins or something, who knows. But Pierce Capola here, recovering from Tommy John, but, at this point in the draft, I figured why not take a shot on a guy who could possibly be like a back-end starter, really good bulk reliever type of arm. Why not? Plus, he's from New Jersey. We all know the connections. And then in round 12, we take Ethan Murray, a big-time power high schooler, 70 power grade, 55 across the board in the infield here. Pretty self-explanatory. You might as well take a shot on a guy like this late in the draft. Round 13, we take Demarion Terrell, a lefty-lefty outfielder out of high school with 70 range. Pretty self-explanatory there. And then in round 14, we took a high school starter out of a San Antonio high school, Jake Neely, right-hander. Looks like he could be something someday. High leader, high loyalty, adaptability. Then in round 15, we take a college reliever out of Bethune-Cookman, Tanner Bocabello. High control, high movement, ground ball. We all know I like these types of guys. Took a shot on this guy. Round 16, we take Jaden Barfield, a lefty out of a Texas high school. High control, 50 movement stuff, 2 good pitches, 1 sub 50 pitch. Who knows? Maybe he develops high work ethic, intelligence. And then in round 17, we take Hunter Hodges, pretty much already developed college reliever out of TCU, throws pretty hard, or 93, 95, but has a really good slider curveball combo with an average-ish fastball, possible 65 stuff, movement possibly 55. Figured he was worth a shot. Round 18, we take Landon O'Donnell, a right-handed pitcher out of a Florida JUCO. Maybe he's something. Has 3 possible good pitches, 70 potential stuff. Took a stab on him in the 18th round. Round 19, same sort of thing. 21-year-old college reliever, bulk reliever sort of guy, which we're looking at him to be. 65 stuff, 55 arm, or 55 movement, with 3 really good potential pitches between the fastball, slider, and curveball out of the University of Alabama. And then in round 20, we took Dylan Jordan, a high schooler out of a Florida high school, who looks like he could maybe be a starting pitcher someday, like a back-end sort of guy, 4 or 5 starter. I believe the Angels took this guy in real life. And that is our 2024 first-year player draft here for the first season. So when we pick things up, we will be heading into the trade deadline and finishing up the 2024 campaign.